The world recognized him as the wild, unpredictable Prince of Darkness. However, what remained largely unknown to the public was that Ozzy Osbourne led a life few could ever truly grasp. Following decades of public turmoil, private battles, and a romance that defied every prediction, his passing left a stillness more profound than any of his concerts. His devoted fans mourned, countless tributes were shared, yet one significant voice remained silent: his wife, Sharon Osbourne, until this very moment. Her unexpected decision to break her silence has astonished many, not solely for the content of her words, but for the unveiling of the individual behind the celebrated persona. What she has divulged is both deeply sorrowful and utterly astonishing. This disclosure is something followers had never anticipated: Ozzy Osbourne's final days and his enduring legacy. Born on the 3rd day of December in the year 1948 in Marston Green, Birmingham, England, John Michael Osbourne would eventually ascend to become one of the most recognizable and provocative figures in the annals of rock music history: Ozzy Osbourne. His formative years were shaped by his working-class upbringing and a profound fascination with music, particularly the raw, untamed spirit of rock and roll. This fervent passion propelled him to join a musical ensemble in 1967, a band that would later evolve into Black Sabbath, an outfit that was instrumental in defining and spearheading the heavy metal genre. As the band's charismatic frontman, Ozzy's distinctive vocal style and his captivating, almost spectral stage presence became the defining characteristics of their sonic identity, setting them apart from the prevailing musical currents of the era and ushering in a new, darker epoch in rock music. From 1967 through 1979, Ozzy Osbourne fronted Black Sabbath, becoming intrinsically linked with their somber, heavy guitar riffs and their chilling thematic elements. Albums such as Paranoid, Master of Reality, and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath cemented the band's legendary status and left an indelible influence on countless musicians globally. Nevertheless, beneath the veneer of immense success lay burgeoning personal struggles. Ozzy's persistent battles with substance abuse began to strain his relationships within the band, ultimately leading to his departure in 1979. Although the parting was arduous, it signified a crucial turning point, enabling Ozzy to redefine himself as a solo artist and continue his musical odyssey on his own terms. In 1980, Ozzy Osbourne embarked on his solo career with the release of Blizzard of Oz, a debut album that silenced his detractors and reaffirmed his standing as a formidable force in the rock music landscape. Featuring iconic tracks like Crazy Train and Mr. Crowley, the album achieved both commercial triumph and critical acclaim, introducing audiences to a fresh phase in Ozzy's artistic journey, this time amplified not only by his unique voice but also by the exceptional skill of guitarist Randy Rhoads. The synergistic musical connection between the two artists elevated Ozzy's solo endeavors and injected a revitalized energy into the genre. Yet, even as his music reached new heights, controversy remained a constant companion. In 1981, Ozzy ignited a media frenzy by severing the head of a dove during a meeting with record label executives. The act, intended as a provocative publicity stunt, shocked the public and further solidified his reputation as a wild and unpredictable figure in the rock world. Then, in 1982, he caused another sensation during a concert in Iowa when he bit the head off a live bat that a fan had thrown onto the stage. Unaware that the bat was alive, Ozzy had to undergo immediate rabies vaccinations following the performance. These incidents, while unsettling to some, became infamous symbols of his uninhibited stage persona and contributed significantly to his burgeoning mystique. Tragedy struck in 1982, during his Diary of a Madman tour, when Randy Rhoads, Ozzy's close collaborator and friend, perished in a devastating airplane crash. The loss profoundly impacted Ozzy on both a personal and professional level. Rhoads had been an integral component of his creative resurgence, and his untimely demise left a void that would be felt for years. Nevertheless, Ozzy persevered, channeling his grief into his music and continuing to perform. In 1985, he briefly reunited with his former Black Sabbath bandmates to perform at Live Aid, a landmark charity concert organized to raise funds for famine relief in Africa. This reunion marked a moment of reconciliation and underscored Ozzy's enduring commitment to utilizing his influence for significant causes. Ozzy's life took another unforeseen turn in the early 2000s when he and his family became the subjects of the MTV reality series The Osbournes, which aired from 2002 to 2005. The program offered a remarkably candid and often humorous glimpse into the chaotic yet loving dynamics of the Osbourne household. It proved to be an immense success, propelling Ozzy to new levels of mainstream recognition and captivating audiences who had previously never engaged with his music. While the series showcased a more vulnerable and relatable aspect of the rock icon, it also highlighted the ongoing challenges he faced, including his persistent struggle with addiction. A memorable part of the show, which I found amusing, was when Lola the Bulldog vomited, and the complex interplays within his family. In 2003, Ozzy received an unexpected honor when he was appointed an honorary colonel in the United States Army. This distinction was bestowed in recognition of his performances for American troops, underscoring his support for military service members. This gesture of appreciation stood in stark contrast to his rebellious public image, reminding fans that Ozzy's identity extended far beyond sensational headlines. He had dedicated decades to entertaining people across the globe, including those serving far from home. The subsequent years were characterized by introspection and a return to his roots. In 2010, Ozzy released his autobiography, I Am Ozzy, a revealing account of his life, replete with unvarnished anecdotes, dark humor, and intimate reflections. In the same year, he rejoined Black Sabbath for select tours and recording sessions, bringing his career full circle. Despite his deteriorating health and the physical toll of decades spent on the road, he remained dedicated to performing and connecting with his audience. His resilience became a defining characteristic of his later years, earning him admiration for his determination to continue despite escalating challenges. In January of 2020, Ozzy Osbourne publicly disclosed his diagnosis with Parkinson's disease, a progressive neurological condition. The announcement was met with an overwhelming wave of support from fans and fellow musicians alike. Yes, yes it is. Come on, come on. While the diagnosis was a significant setback, Ozzy did not withdraw from public life. Instead, in the same year, he released Ordinary Man, a profoundly reflective album featuring collaborations with artists such as Elton John and Post Malone. The record explored themes of mortality, legacy, and gratitude, offering listeners a rare insight into the mindset of a man confronting his own vulnerability. Even so, he was not yet finished. On the 5th day of July in the year 2025, Ozzy Osbourne returned to the stage for a final farewell performance in Birmingham, accompanied by members of Black Sabbath. The concert was an emotional, powerful, and symbolic event, serving as a final tribute to the city that nurtured him, the band that launched his career, and the fans who remained loyal for over 50 years. Just over 2 weeks later, on the 22nd day of July in the year 2025, Ozzy Osbourne passed away at the age of 76. His death was attributed to complications arising from Parkinson's disease and other long-standing health issues. Ozzy's most profound controversies and legal entanglements. Ozzy Osbourne's legacy is punctuated by groundbreaking music and unforgettable performances, but it is also interwoven with controversy, scandal, and intensely personal struggles. While his professional achievements are indisputable, many facets of his public life shocked audiences and provoked strong reactions. From peculiar stage antics to legal disputes and public admissions regarding his substance abuse, Ozzy's narrative is not merely one of success, but also of profound human frailties and challenging moments that shaped his public perception. These elements became as integral to his public identity as his music, crafting a complex figure who lived unapologetically, simultaneously admired and criticized. One of the most defining aspects of Ozzy's public persona was his shocking conduct, both on stage and off. These incidents were not mere whispers, they became prominent news stories, further amplifying the legend surrounding his character. Perhaps the most notorious instances occurred in the early 1980s when Ozzy bit the head off a dove during a meeting with CBS Records executives. The incident, which astonished everyone present, was reportedly conceived as a defiant publicity ploy, but ultimately reinforced his unpredictable and audacious image. Merely a year later, during a live performance in Des Moines, Iowa, Ozzy bit the head off a bat that a fan had thrown onto the stage. Believing it to be a rubber novelty, he quickly realized his error and required immediate rabies treatment. These events became emblematic of Ozzy's stage persona: wild, extreme, and perpetually pushing boundaries. I had to consume increasing amounts to achieve my desired state. It wasn't genuinely what I wanted, it just warped my perception. There were also whispers of other extravagant acts, including the purported instance of him snorting a line of ants while on tour, allegedly to surpass the notoriety of Motley Crue's antics. While this story has circulated extensively and has been depicted in media portrayals, some individuals close to Ozzy have contested its factual accuracy. Regardless of its veracity, the tale became an embedded part of the mythology that enveloped him, a mythology that often blurred the lines between fact and fiction, consistently centering on his refusal to conform to societal expectations. Beyond the sensational public stunts lay significant issues with substance abuse that afflicted Ozzy throughout his life. His battles with substance consumption resulted in numerous public incidents and arrests, including charges of disorderly conduct. These episodes reflected deeper struggles with addiction that Ozzy later acknowledged took decades to address. He underwent several rehabilitation programs over the years, but the path to sobriety was arduous, fraught with difficulty and marked by setbacks. Ozzy never shied away from admitting the detrimental impact these substances had, both on himself and on those in his vicinity. A profoundly challenging period in Ozzy's struggle with addiction occurred in 1989. Under the influence, he acted with aggression towards his wife, Sharon. He later expressed profound remorse, admitting the seriousness of the event. The assault resulted in his apprehension and a brief stay in a psychiatric care facility. Sharon ultimately elected not to pursue legal action, and they continued their relationship. They later discussed the incident openly as part of their commitment to transparency regarding the perils of substance abuse. This event marked a significant turning point for their relationship and for Ozzy's ongoing battle with his personal demons. Ozzy's professional journey was also characterized by contention that extended beyond personal conduct into the arena of legal disputes and public criticism. A major controversy arose concerning Ozzy's song "Suicide Solution," which some commentators believed had a detrimental effect on young audiences. Lawsuits were initiated in the 1980s, but the courts ultimately dismissed them, asserting that the lyrics were safeguarded as free expression under the First Amendment. Ozzy and his supporters maintained that the song conveyed a cautionary message about the dangers of substance abuse rather than an endorsement of harmful actions. Nevertheless, the case instigated national discussions about the influence of music on mental well-being and its impact on youth culture. Significant legal disagreements also surfaced concerning financial matters and acknowledgement of creative contributions, notably involving former associates Bob Daisley and Lee Kerslake. These two musicians initiated legal proceedings against Ozzy and his management, alleging they had not received adequate compensation or proper credit for their contributions to seminal early solo recordings, including Blizzard of Oz and Diary of a Madman. In response to the legal actions, these albums were controversially re-released with Daisley's and Kerslake's parts substituted by other musicians. This decision elicited widespread disapproval from both fans and critics. The ensuing backlash eventually led to the reinstatement of the original recordings in subsequent editions, but the incident highlighted persistent underlying tensions within the music industry concerning creative ownership and equitable financial arrangements. Ozzy also endured a deeply painful personal and professional estrangement from Don Arden, the former manager of Black Sabbath and the father of Sharon Osbourne. The disagreement escalated into a legal conflict that further strained familial bonds and exposed the stark realities of music industry management. Sharon assumed the role of AZ's manager after the dissolution of their professional relationship, and the fallout with Arden signaled a decisive redirection in Ozzy's career trajectory. Although it was a difficult and emotionally charged phase, It ultimately led to Sharon adopting a more prominent position in guiding his professional path and safeguarding his interests. The early 2000s ushered in another period of public examination. This time, the focus was through the medium of reality television. When the Osbournes premiered on MTV in 2002, it provided viewers with an intimate glimpse into the chaotic and unconventional domestic life of Ozzy and his family. The program achieved immense popularity and introduced Ozzy to a new generation of followers. However, in the subsequent years, Sharon disclosed a sobering reality. Ozzy had not maintained sobriety during the show's filming. This revelation ignited broader debates concerning the ethical implications of reality television, particularly regarding the depiction of addiction and the potential for exploiting individuals who are struggling with it. Critics question the appropriateness of airing the program under such circumstances, while supporters contended that it helped humanize AZ and draw attention to issues of mental health and recovery. Sharon Osbourne's evolution into a media powerhouse. Sharon Osbourne's life has been a complex and dynamic journey of transformation, resilience, and unwavering allegiance. Having navigated a life marked by both triumphs and tribulations alongside Ozzy Osbourne, her own narrative embodies a strength and ambition that not only helped shape her husband's iconic career, but also carved out her own distinct niche in global entertainment. As Ozzy's controversies and personal struggles garnered worldwide attention, it was often Sharon who stood at the forefront, managing, defending, and cultivating an empire around a figure the world couldn't stop observing. Yet, long before the media attention and reality television, Sharon Rachel Levy's foundations were firmly rooted in the music industry from its inception. Born on October 9, 1952, in London, England, Sharon Rachel Levy entered a world already immersed in the influence of the entertainment sector. Her father, Don Arden, was a renowned and influential music manager who had established a reputation for being as formidable as he was successful. As a child, Sharon witnessed firsthand the intense and often cutthroat nature of the music business. This early exposure profoundly shaped her subsequent approach to management and her strategy for survival in an industry predominantly led by men. In the early 1970s, Sharon encountered Ozzy Osbourne while he was still under her father's management during his tenure with Black Sabbath. Their relationship commenced during a tumultuous and pivotal juncture in Ozzy's professional life. Did you have an idea that he had a crush on you? No, their personal and professional lives soon began to intertwine. When Ozzy was dismissed from Black Sabbath in 1979, following a period of significant personal turmoil, it was Sharon who took charge of his career, offering him a second chance that would define the subsequent phase of both their lives. Throughout the 1980s and 1990s, Sharon's role in the music industry expanded considerably. She continued to steer Ozzy's career, guiding him through successful album releases, extensive world tours, and significant career milestones. One of her most impactful contributions was the establishment of Ozzfest, a music festival that became a cornerstone of the heavy metal scene. Sharon meticulously organized and oversaw the festival's expansion, uniting emerging artists and established legends in a manner that revitalized the genre and provided fans with a unique platform to celebrate the music they cherished. Ozzfest not only solidified Ozzy's enduring relevance within the industry, but also served as a testament to Sharon's proficiency as a business strategist and promoter. Sharon's professional trajectory took a completely new turn in 2002 when she, along with her entire family, became the central figures of The Osbournes, a reality television series broadcast on MTV. The show offered an unvarnished perspective on the Osbourne household, capturing the daily occurrences of case, humor, and affection within the family unit. Sharon's sharp wit, assertive personality, and fierce dedication to her loved ones distinguished her as a prominent figure in the series, earning her widespread recognition and acclaim. From 2002 to 2005, the Osbournes emerged as a cultural phenomenon, elevating Sharon to a household name status far beyond the confines of the music world. Capitalizing on her burgeoning fame, Sharon launched The Sharon Osbourne Show in 2003. This daytime talk show provided her with a platform to engage with audiences on a more personal and conversational level. From 2004 to 2007, Sharon joined the judging panel for the X Factor UK, where she became recognized for her frank critiques, heartfelt reactions, and guidance-oriented approach. Her participation infused the talent competition with a unique blend of industry expertise and genuine emotion, contributing to the launch of several aspiring artist careers. Her capacity to connect with both contestants and viewers alike cemented her position as one of the show's most beloved personalities. Whether offering praise for a performance or staunchly defending her team, Sharon's authenticity stood out in an era characterized by carefully curated television personas. In 2007, she shared her life experiences in the autobiography Extreme, which rapidly ascended to bestseller status. The book chronicled her formative years, her intricate relationship with her father, her ascent within the music industry, and her tumultuous yet enduring marriage to Ozzy. Through this memoir, Sharon provided a more profound and vulnerable portrayal of herself, revealing the emotional burden and personal challenges she encountered while navigating fame, family, and business endeavors. The book's success solidified her reputation as a survivor, someone who had weathered immense pressure and personal anguish while persistently building a formidable career. Her influence in the television realm continued to expand when she joined America's Got Talent in 2010 as a judge alongside Howie Mandel and Piers Morgan. Her distinctive combination of empathy and firm discipline once again resonated strongly with the viewing public. However, in 2012, Sharon garnered significant media attention when she opted to depart from the program in protest. She cited the unfair exclusion of her son, Jack Osbourne, from an NBC program after he disclosed his multiple sclerosis diagnosis. Her decision to relinquish a prominent television opportunity underscored her profound loyalty to her family and her unwavering commitment to advocating for her convictions, regardless of the personal or professional repercussions. Between 2014 and 2017, Sharon served as a co-host on The Talk, a daytime panel discussion program on CBS, where she brought her signature forthrightness to conversations spanning culture, politics, and entertainment. Her unapologetic viewpoints and readiness to express her opinions made her a widely admired yet also divisive figure on the show. While her presence occasionally ignited controversy, it also underscored her role as a woman unwilling to be silenced or softened by the pressures of public life. Even as her public engagements multiplied, Sharon continued to oversee aspects of Ozzy's career. In 2020, she appeared in his music video for Ordinary Man, a poignant project that reflected on mortality and enduring legacy. Behind the scenes, she remained deeply involved in organizing his tours, managing business transactions, and ensuring that Ozzy's artistic legacy was preserved and respected. Through periods of health challenges, personal crises, and intense media scrutiny, Sharon consistently served as the stabilizing force in his life. At times, she was the sole individual capable of maintaining cohesion when all else appeared to be disintegrating. Sharon Osbourne's public disagreements and controversies. Sharon Osbourne's ascent to prominence was not solely attributable to her business acumen and media presence, but also to her resolute willingness to confront challenges directly. However, increased visibility invariably brought closer scrutiny, and her life, much like that of her husband Ozzy, has been punctuated by its own share of controversies and difficult choices. Her forthright demeanor and candor often positioned her at the focal point of public discourse, at times making her both an emblem of fortitude and a target for condemnation. One of the most intimate and trying struggles in Sharon Osbourne's existence occurred when Sharon assumed management of Ozzy's solo endeavors following his exit from Black Sabbath in 1979. This decision created a chasm between father and daughter. Sharon attributed her father's overbearing and difficult conduct as the primary catalyst for their estrangement. The emotional repercussions were substantial, with the pair remaining estranged for many years. Notwithstanding their familial connection, their bond was fractured by professional betrayal and lingering resentments. Although a reconciliation was eventually achieved shortly before Ozzy's passing in 2007, their strained relationship underscored the sacrifices demanded by ambition within the entertainment sphere and the emotional cost Sharon incurred to safeguard Ozzy and forge her own professional path. Sharon's forceful character frequently permeated her appearances on reality television, where she garnered additional acclaim and also considerable controversy. On the X Factor UK, she became recognized for her incisive feedback and her readiness to challenge fellow panelists. In a particularly notorious conflict, Sharon leveled accusations against Danny Minogue of showing preferential treatment and manipulating backstage dynamics in ways that adversely impacted other contestants and judges. These assertions, disseminated through interviews and personal accounts, attracted widespread media attention. The dispute illuminated the underlying friction within high-stakes talent competitions and exemplified Sharon's no-nonsense approach to articulating her convictions, an approach that garnered her both admiration and criticism. Sharon's departure from America's Got Talent in 2012 added another chapter to her public disagreements. She asserted that NBC had acted discriminatorily towards her son, Jack Osbourne, by rescinding his participation in a planned program subsequent to his diagnosis with multiple sclerosis. In a highly publicized exit, Sharon accused the broadcasting network of unjust treatment and a deficiency of support for individuals with disabilities. While NBC refuted these allegations, the controversy ignited widespread public discussion concerning workplace discrimination and Sharon's role as a fiercely protective parent. Her decision to step away from a prominent television role underscored her dedication to her family, but also revealed the fragility of professional associations when personal boundaries are breached. Arguably, one of the most extensively debated controversies of Sharon's professional journey unfolded in 2021. During her tenure as a co-host on the CBS daytime program, The Talk, in March of that year, Sharon defended her associate Piers Morgan after he publicly critiqued Meghan Markle following her interview with Oprah Winfrey. This defense precipitated a tense on-air exchange with fellow host Cheryl Underwood, during which Sharon expressed feeling unfairly targeted and requested clarification on the subject. The incident instigated broader media discussions regarding representation, equity, and accountability. Reports subsequently surfaced suggesting that Sharon had uttered remarks deemed culturally insensitive by some behind the scenes in earlier seasons. CBS initiated an internal inquiry, and Sharon eventually departed from the program. In the aftermath, she contended that she had been deliberately undermined by the network's producers and was unfairly depicted. This event represented a pivotal moment in her television career, prompting her to reevaluate her involvement in American daytime media. The controversy also mirrored broader societal tensions and the manner in which public figures are held responsible for their pronouncements and actions in an increasingly sensitive and interconnected global landscape. Beyond professional and personal disputes, Sharon also faced considerable media scrutiny regarding her physical appearance and her candor about undergoing cosmetic procedures. Throughout the years, she spoke openly about undergoing multiple interventions, including facelifts, abdominoplasties, and breast augmentations. While some lauded her honesty and willingness to discuss aging under the public gaze, others criticized her for promoting unattainable beauty standards. Sharon acknowledged both the commendations and the criticisms, asserting that her choices were personal and empowering. Nevertheless, the attention surrounding her appearance frequently eclipsed her professional achievements and reignited conversations about the pressures exerted on women in the entertainment industry to maintain a specific aesthetic. Sharon's final tribute to Ozzy after his peaceful demise when Ozzy Osbourne passed away on July 22, 2025, at the age of 76. He passed peacefully at his residence in Buckinghamshire, surrounded by Sharon and their children. The world collectively paused to contemplate the life and enduring impact of one of rock music's most transformative figures. Known universally as the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy's passing followed a powerful and symbolic final performance with Black Sabbath earlier that month at Birmingham's Villa Park. That concert, during which Ozzy remained seated for the majority of the performance due to health concerns, served as his farewell to his devoted fans, marking the conclusion of a career that had defined and challenged generations. In the days following his death, Sharon Osbourne, his devoted wife, manager, and steadfast companion for over 4 decades, finally broke her silence. Her public statement was imbued with profound emotion, yet also palpable pride as she paid tribute to the man she had supported through periods of fame, struggles with addiction, health tribulations, and ultimately, a peaceful departure. Sharon shared that Ozzy had been adamant about performing one final concert despite his deteriorating health. He proclaimed it to be the finest performance of his life, a sentiment she wholeheartedly echoed. It was his way of bidding adieu, not solely to his audience, but to the stage that had been the very essence of his existence. In private, Sharon and the family had undertaken extensive preparations to ensure Ozzy experienced comfort and dignity during his final days. Their London residence had been adapted to cater to his specific needs, ensuring his mobility and overall well-being as his illness advanced. These efforts reflected their shared aspiration for privacy, intimacy, and tranquility. During what they knew were his concluding months, Sharon revealed the paramount importance of Ozzy being at home, removed from the glare of the spotlight, and enveloped by the love of his family. The emotional burden of Ozzy's Parkinson's diagnosis was something Sharon never concealed. She had previously articulated the profound heartbreak of witnessing her husband's health decline, most notably in the ITV documentary The Osbournes Want to Believe, where she tearfully confessed to weeping whenever Ozzy was not looking. The stark reality of observing an individual, once brimming with vitality, grappling with physical limitations, had deeply affected her. Ozzy's journey towards his end was marked by a series of significant health challenges. In 2022, he underwent spinal surgery that resulted in diminished mobility. Subsequent complications necessitated the cancellation of tour dates, and for a period, Ozzy appeared to withdraw from public life. However, Sharon emphasized that he never ceased his creative output. Even in his final years, he was actively composing music, recording vocals, and completing his memoir, Last Rites. She conveyed his desire to be remembered for his artistic contributions, not for his illness. In her heartfelt tribute, Sharon also addressed certain misconceptions and media speculation that had surrounded Ozzy's health in recent years. A particular point of contention was the long-rumored assisted suicide pact they purportedly held in Switzerland. Sharon clarified that while she and Ozzy had discussed the subject hypothetically, largely stemming from a fear of prolonged suffering, the narrative had been distorted by the media. She firmly maintained that their intentions had always been centered on preserving control and dignity rather than prematurely ending his life. Sharon's statement was replete with gratitude for the immense outpouring of affection and support from the public in the music fraternity. She referenced touching tributes from iconic artists such as Elton John, Rod Stewart, and Ronnie Wood, all of whom acknowledge Ozzy's profound influence on music and culture. Younger musicians also paid their respects, recognizing Ozzy as a pioneer who had significantly shaped the soundscape of modern rock. Sharon expressed her deep appreciation for these accolades, stating they conveyed more to the family than mere words could articulate. She also touched upon Ozzy's contributions beyond the realm of music. In recent years, Ozzy had unexpectedly emerged as a prominent advocate for Parkinson's awareness. By openly sharing his diagnosis, he empowered countless others to speak about their own personal struggles. Sharon conveyed her pride in his decision to go public, remarking that even in illness, he discovered avenues to give back. Although he had always harbored a fear of being forgotten, his candor regarding his affliction had added another significant dimension to his complex and meaningful legacy.